Hey there folks, I'm Serious JG. Welcome back to Let's Play Megaman 3. I just took a minute off screen to the magic of save load to determine that there is an E-Tank in Needleman's stage. I didn't bother to get to Needleman and try to beat him without using his weakness. But I realized there's an E-Tank in Needleman's stage, so I have the ability to load up a bunch of E-Tanks for the thing that comes after we defeat the 8 Robot Masters. But what could possibly be coming after that, folks? I mean, the plot is that we have to defeat the Robot Masters to activate the peacekeeping robot that Dr. Wily has designed with the help of Dr. Light. So once that robot's activated, there's going to be peace. Everything's going to be great, right? Of course. So this notion that I need to load up a bunch of E-Tanks is probably just me being silly. Either way, speaking of silly, let's go with Elec Man's silly cousin, Spark Man. Actually, he's perfectly valid. He's like a little electrical conduit man. He makes perfect sense as a robot design. He's got... I love the stage music here. This is a stage design we might be seeing again. Oh, damn it! I didn't think it was going to do that! So in fact, what you really need to do is hang out over here, drag it over here, and then rush over. There you go, a little electricity... traps you gotta hop between. It seemed to me like in the challenge relay portions of the collector's edition here, or whatever it's called, this was a popular stage to pull from. So I'm thinking maybe by Mega Man 3 standards, this might be one of the more difficult stages to clear. Forget the boss, because I think Sparkman's kind of a pushover boss, if memory serves. But the stage is rather interesting. Let's go on to these guys. Damn it. Well, I haven't used any freaking weapons. I probably should have. I've got no lives in reserve, I just noticed, so I'm going to assume you guys shoot up. Time to work with on this. Ah, boy. Managed to mistime that last one pretty badly. Perhaps the Rush submarine can help us. I'd be quite pleased with myself if I can beat this with the no lives in reserve thing that we're faced with right now, but I thought I would have 2 E-Tanks by now. I don't remember using one. Maybe every time you continue it halves your remaining E-Tanks? Let's just say I was surprised when I thought that I could, when I thought I'd found a trick playing around with it the other night at Hardman stage. I was rather surprised at the notion that I could get all the E-Tanks I wanted, so maybe there is some kind of mechanic preventing you from exploiting that too much. Shades of Duskman's stage, where this will become a big thing. Garbage chutes. Why are there garbage chutes in the power plant? The power station. That's right, folks. This stage is the power station. This crap. Okay. Thank you for coming back, little guy, because my panicking jump to avoid taking damage there would have done me in completely. This is rather nasty. Now, Magnet Man weapon would make that quite easy to deal with if I had been willing to use it. As it is, we're getting to Spark Man. I have no lives in reserve and less than half health, so I don't think I'm even going to play with trying to beat him with Pea Shooter. I think we're going to go straight to his weakness and hope that I can pull this out. And I can't. Because I thought he would take damage again before my invincibility frames ran out. So I should have won there, and I just stage selected. Oh well. It's a short little stage with some... I guess it's got some interesting mechanics. Now that I look back at it, it doesn't really have that much going on. So, without giving too much... Well, there you go. Right off the bat, they're like taunting me. Oh, you can't beat it up with one life? Well, I guess we better give you one-ups all over the place. I don't want to give it away, but some of these stage designs and the way Mega Man 3 works, there is... we'll be seeing some of this over again. Like a harder version of this. Now, pretty much every Mega Man game has had some kind of stages you have to clear post the 8 Robot Masters, but this game actually reuses the tile sets and music and enemy types of some of the stages. Should have just, in order to avoid risking the power-up going away, I should have just like slammed through there, taken the hit, and powered up. Okay, that was embarrassing. I guess magnet weapon doesn't work on him when he's invulnerable. Well, I mean, obviously it wouldn't work on him when he's invulnerable, but what I mean is, I guess the magnet beam doesn't even, like, home in and bounce off. That sucked. I didn't even reach the first continue point, and I used up a bunch of my weapons. And I missed a power-up for the weapon, because I wasn't paying enough attention. So maybe the game was thinking the right way when it gave me a 1-up out of the chute, because I just can't do shit. I mean, I almost beat it on the first with no lives in reserve, and then suddenly can't even get to the first continuation point. This stage has become the new Top Man stage. Should be easy, I make it hard. You make it hard. Is a new enemy gonna spawn out of there because I've been backtracking so much? No. Welcome to the power station, home of the dark one, nerd of the dark one. Dogwa. There you go. If you're patient, you don't need a magnet weapon. Seeing as the final boss, which is immune to most weapons, is immune to magnet weapon, technically you don't need magnet weapon ever. Damn it, why did I jump? I was going to do this little baby jump. But then I was going to just wait and let it carry me high enough that I didn't need to jump, and I kind of did both. And that doesn't work. You either jump right away or you let it carry you up and you don't jump. Why did I do that? What my composure's suddenly broken down is what it is. There's something about LPing. I'm not even kidding, folks. If you watch LPs but you've never LP'd, there's something about, like, you feel the sense that you need to do well, which makes you fail more. Like, embarrassment about, like, having to explain yourself when you do make a mistake just makes you mess up way more often. I remember somebody who... I mean, always told me he enjoyed watching it, but was very harsh on my tactics and talking about how differently he was doing things. I'm blanking on his name. I would have known it at the time. But a guy was watching my Panzer General LP, started doing his own LP, and then wrote to me and said, I can't believe how much harder it is to play this game when I'm trying to talk constantly. When I'm trying to think of things to say, and not just concentrating on the gameplay. Which I was quite pleased with that, actually, because he's been a pretty harsh critic, and then he was like, no, you know what? Not quite as easy as I thought it was. Okay, so... Wow, I'm not really doing that good. Rush submarine, save me. So the Magnet Man weapon should help us get past that section where those little screw guys were interfering with your jumps. I hope. The game really is like, alright, put on the kid gloves. JG can't take it. JG needs us to go easy on him. At least there's no mysterious guy to the right of the screen in this stage that we have to, like... The garbage chute thing is not really that challenging at this point, but we will see this same challenge layout later in such a way that they make it so those guys are going to, like, crush you / lead you to deadly drops. Oh, that was close. We actually got lives in reserve this time. So we could try to beat Sparkman fair and square. Yep, we could. Don't feel like it. I tried. Gave it a quick try. Shadow Man weapon does a lot more damage to him. But as you can see, basically, yeah, you gotta avoid getting jumped on by him. You avoid his little, like, sparks in all directions attack. You don't sit here and tank damage from being right in his face. And you beat him. Very easy with Shadow Man weapon. Probably should have done it last time, but I just thought I had him and didn't need to dodge and shouldn't have thought that. So with Sparkman's defeat, we've beaten more than half of the Robot Masters. And although I keep pretending that I'm maintaining some kind of tension and alternating between pretending the game is over when we beat the 8 Robot Masters and fessing up to the fact that it obviously isn't over. For purposes of the story, if you read the manual, yeah, you're like, oh, we're more than halfway through the game. Once we beat all 8 Robot Masters, then the peace robot will be built and everything will be hunky-dory. Well, we'll see about that in future videos, folks. But for now, with Sparkman's weapon, and with me securing the knowledge that we can beat Needle Man last, and I can still do my thing I wanted to do where I cheesily rack up a bunch of E-Tanks before we continue any further in the game, our path is now set. With Sparkman's weapon, we can defeat, I guess, Snake Man? No, Snake Man's weak against Needle Man, too. I'm really confused now. I feel like we've got a... I feel like our issue is Gemini Man is weak against Snake Man, who's weak against Needle Man, who's weak against Gemini Man. So I feel like we've got guys who are not fitting in the traditional Mega Man circle of life. I think Snake Man is beatable without using... he's not easy, but he's beatable without using his weakness. So maybe I'll do a little reading and see if there's anybody who's... If I'm misremembering anything, I don't know. Maybe I'll actually just go and be forced to fight some people without their weakness. Wouldn't that be crazy? Either way, folks, next time I'm not good against Gemini Man. I'm going to have to beat somebody. If their weaknesses are what I thought they were, then I'm going to have to beat one of these guys without using their weakness, because now that I think about it, Sparkman is good against Magnet Man, who is the guy we beat with Pea-Shooter. What would you do in this situation, Mega Man? Well, we'll find out next time on the Mysterious JG. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.